Perhaps at the age of 18 or 19 or 20, he would just whisper this question to him. But now at the age of like 55, 56, he's mature enough and brave enough and courageous enough and seasoned enough to say, you know what? I don't really care. I know who I am. I know what I have inside me, and I'm comfortable with that. Why am I so angry, Sadhguru? And there are like 5,000 people sitting back and watching this and hearing this. Now, if you want this id to shut up, in other words, if you want this infantile part of you to go away, that every time your father does something and you scream at him, and you fantasize a way to kind of just shut him down completely, what you need to do is read the Bible again and again and again and again, until this act of forgiveness becomes really mature inside you. Remember, all the stuff that we talk about in this class, they're like art. If you want to be good at any art, you need practice, constant practice. Okay? Now, so Alex, remember, as your father, when you're age 0 to about 7 or 8, and that's being far too generous these days, you tell your father, you hold his hand, so Dad, can we go across the street? Absolutely. Your father is your hero. He's like Yahweh. He knows everything. He's like the Eye of Horus. Then little by little you find cracks in the way you see your father. He screams, maybe he watches porn, maybe he does things that you just don't like. And then you realize, no, this guy is no hero. He's an idiot. So at the age of 6, you realize you can no longer hold his hand. The first thing you need to know about me as your father, Alex, is I have more darkness inside me than light. And if you want to put that in practice, when you go home tonight, when it's about 8 or 9 or 10 at night, turn off all the lights and walk through the house. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to bang your head, bang your knees, bang your arm here and there, and it's going to hurt. So why do people hurt each other? Not because they want to, because there's a good amount of darkness. That's the first thing you need to understand. And you can't expect the lights to be off and for you to go from point A to point B without hurting yourself. It's impossible. Okay? Do you understand that? Do you know what you're asking? I am 60. You are 17. Your question about forgiveness means the following. Not only must you carry your own emotions, but you must carry the ignorance of a 60-year-old man. See, if you don't ask about forgiveness, Alex, the only thing you need to worry about is your own pathetic little life. But now that you ask, how can I forgive my father? Not only do you have to carry the burden of all the feelings you have inside you, you must also carry all the things that live inside me but I don't see. But there is another caveat to this. You're going to fail, and you have to carry that on your shoulder as well. And there is another aspect to this. You're going to make yourself better, and that's another burden you have to carry. You're 17. How many burdens are you carrying? 4. You, me, your emotions, and your desire to correct it. I haven't even talked about after you correct your emotions, you coming to me and trying to educate me. And that's something you can't do. At least not now. So before we go any further, you need to remember, the seriousness of your question. This is not walking into a ring and boxing, what's called featherweights. No, you're in super heavyweight, man. You're boxing with a Mike Tyson. Okay. Next. Now, forget all the darkness that lives inside me. Forgive the two parts, the id and the superego. that push me here and there. I am a social animal. Did you sign up for this class so that I could push you to think and feel bad? To feel incompetent? No. Did you get a job to be harassed by your boss? No. Did you get to meet Natalie so she could just nag and nag and nag so that you could save your money, get yourself on a plane and get yourself to America? No. You may not even want to come to America, but you like Natalie. Did you have kids so that at the end of the day you have no energy, not even to pee? When you become a social animal, you realize you're walking in society. What is society? Individual people coming together. What does it mean to be an individual, Alex? To live in darkness. 20 people in this room. None of us know anything about anything. We are consumed by assumptions. We think we are doing good, but we are not. We think we know what's going on, but we don't. And what's the consequence? You hurt people. Add to the fact you're dealing with a novice. I'm a 60-year-old man. You don't think I like power? You don't think I like attention? I get intoxicated, drunk. And do you think I'm seasoned enough to know what to do with the power given to me? Of course not. You have the power. Why don't you use your power? Go file a complaint against me. That's power. How much knowledge do you have about the power you got? How much knowledge do you got about the things I'm talking about? Zero. But do you have the power to file a complaint? And that's going to take about 2 hours of my life, where I have to go somewhere, talk to some people, tell them how stupid they are, and how stupid the complaint is. I don't mind it. It's just 2 hours of waste. When you live in society, what happens, Alex? People hurt you. I don't know what they're holding here, so they're a unit. What does it mean to be a unit? She likes him. He likes her. And do you know what lives inside like? Dreams, hopes, passions. And you know what that means? Attachment. And do you know what happens when you like someone? You become extremely sensitive to what they do to you, how they look at you, what they say to you, how they say that to you. She has the power. She has the power to hurt him. He has the power to hurt her. Now, the thing about these two people is they don't want to hurt each other intentionally, knowingly. But here's the thing, because there's a good amount of darkness inside them, and because they're unreflective, without knowing, they hurt each other. When they first came in, I asked them a question. I looked at her, and she wasn't very happy. Now, the poor guy has to figure out, what the hell did I say? What the hell did I do? Now, did he feel this way? No, he doesn't care. Why? They're not attached. When you live in society, that is what happens. Do you like your job? No. You need the money, though. So what do? Your boss keeps demanding things from you. Well, you can't give him the bird because you'll get fired. If you get fired, you make no money, you pay no rent, you pay no food, you can't do anything. So what do? I'm going to tell you what you do, Alex. I had a student some years ago. Hello, units. I had a student some years ago. She had a dream. The dream was this. I find myself in the bathroom, kneeling before the toilet bowl, and I look inside the bowl, and I see There's solid brown stuff in it. I think you guys call it shit. And then I put my hand inside the bowl, grab a handful, put it in my mouth, and I eat it. And then I smile, and then I say thank you. That's the answer to your question, Nayan. Why does life suck? Because people give you shit on a daily basis and you have to eat it. And then you have to say thank you. Do you like your job? Probably not. Do you like the life that you're living? Probably not. It's unfulfilling. Probably lacks meaning in a variety of different ways. But what choice do you have? You have to eat what's given to you. It smells bad, tastes bad, looks bad. And what happens? You smile back. Thank you. That's what life is. The best definition of life has been given to us by Albert Camus, the Algerian philosopher. You want to know what the function of life is, Alex? To shatter dreams, to shatter hopes, to demolish everything that's good about you. That's what life does. Well, that's what life does. Yeah. Remember, you're not outside of life. Whatever event takes place in life, it impacts you. What do you do when you walk into a class like this, imagining that you're going to learn philosophy? And by philosophy, I mean facts, names, concepts, things that are completely useless at this stage in your growth. But you assume that just because you know a few things, that's called educational learning. And so what happens? You get disappointed when you realize I'm not giving you any names, I'm not giving you any concepts, I'm not giving you any facts about who these people are, what they thought about, history, all that stuff. Your expectation comes to this class and they get destroyed. And so what do? Well, you go and drop the class. I'll wait to graduate next year. Amir Sabzwar is an awful instructor. You know, I'm your father, Alex. I have a job. I wake up at 6. I go to an environment I don't really like to go to, but nevertheless, I have no choice. You know why? I gotta pay rent. Then I come home. And there is my wife. You're too young to understand this just yet. I'm only doing this because you're pissing me off. You know why I got married to my wife? I was attracted to her. Then I desired her. Then I wanted her. Then I needed her. Then I went on this long journey, and then I got her. In getting, I became satisfied. In satisfaction, I got bored. In boredom, I got frustrated. In frustration, I became angry. She hasn't done anything to me. This is what life is, man. Are you listening? I don't even need any of this. Nothing. I'm a piece of shit as it is. Little light and lot of darkness. Confusion. My body now desires companionship. There is excitement. I get her. Only to realize, why the hell am I bored now? What do you do with this? You can't do anything. Okay, so you go out to dinner. All right, so you go dancing. Okay, so you go to Hawaii. How much and for how long can you keep this distraction alive before you fall back into boredom? And that's not true just of marriage. Everything that you touch will eventually crumble. I'm a 60-year-old man, Alex. How much of this darkness within can I take? How much of it can I endure? How much of boredom regards my wife, my job, the books I read, the movies I watch, the life I have, how much of this crap can I take? And I'm from the Middle East. I just want to go get a cup of coffee. And some guy comes to me and says, why don't you go back home? Home? Where the fuck is my home? And now what? I got another issue. Someone I don't even know, someone I've never seen in my life, now begins to harass me. For what? Because I have a different skin color? Because they feel superior? That's what happens when you live in society. You get assaulted on a daily basis. Then there is this other area of life. You know, I used to play tennis, Alex. 10 hours a day. I wanted to be a pro. Then I wanted to be a soccer player. I played 5-6 hours a day. I wanted to be a pro. I built the shed in the backyard of my house, all by myself. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shed I built. My rotator cuff is out of commission. This arm is no good anymore. My shoulders hurt. My back hurts. If I read more than 5 minutes, I get a headache. I need to sleep these days at least 15, 16 hours. Do you understand what this third assault is? It's getting old, man. You have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Thank you for nodding your head. But you have no idea what it means and how it feels to get old. To look back and you realize that most of what you've done in life has been a waste. The amount of regret, remorse. And then to be in a classroom such as this, or any classroom, to have 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds sitting in my class and taking this stuff casually. I mean, knowing full well, these are just guests. They're going to come in and they're going to invade and occupy. These are nothing to be taken casually. They are very, very serious. And to realize that you have so little time ahead of you, and you've passed so much time behind you, but you're now in the cradle of old age, what the hell can you do? Nothing. And then you come to me as my son. Dad, how you doing? How the fuck you think I'm doing? But you want me to be happy? Do you know the complexities of life? And now imagine now I have a bit of self-awareness. That I know there's a good amount of darkness inside me, and I can't do much about it. That I know society sucks, but I have no choice but to be in it because I need to survive. I need to survive for your sake. And then I'm getting old. And when I go outside, in my 20s I would walk out and people would look at me and I say, they look at me because I'm attractive, I'm a good-looking man. Now when they see the wrinkles and my hunchback, they have pity for me. They feel sorry for me. So how do I deal with the disasters of life? I'll tell you now. Do you have any questions? This has been a great class. Not because of you, because of me. You see, Alex, I never had parents who encouraged me to read. Your grandparents. I never had parents, your grandparents, who encouraged me to think and reflect and be self-aware. So when I realized that there is too much darkness in me, when I realize that society pushes me around on a daily basis, when I realize I'm getting a little old, how do you cope with this, man? You know, some people cope with things healthily because they're educated, and some people cope with things because they're uneducated, so they do it in an unhealthy way. What's the easiest way I can forget all the problems that live inside me? I could drink. I could smoke. And I'll do my best to make sure that drinking and smoking are legislated. It becomes legal. You think I drink and smoke because why? Forget the second part, which is when you've done it over and over again, it becomes part of who and what you are. I'm not talking about habit. I'm not talking about addiction. I'm talking about initially when I did it. Why did I do it? I look at you. I look at my wife. I look at our other kids. I look at my life. I look at my job. I look at myself. I can't do anything. And I can't live being aware of all the garbage that's around me. I just need to close my eyes, not see anything. I drink. Do you really think I drink to push you around? Do you really think I drink to neglect you? To make the wife invisible? I drink so I don't see. I drink so I don't feel. My Messiah is not Jesus Christ. My Messiah is the bottle. It baptizes me. It forgives me because it closes my eyes and forces me not to see, not to look, not to feel. So when someone comes to this class and says, I smoke, and I do so because I'm enlightened, I say, this is America. It's a place where loneliness and depression live. It's a place where lack of love and care and neglect live. You smoke because you're Jesus Christ? Really? Depression is 60%, man. Divorce is almost 70%. You smoke because you're a happy chap? Are you kidding? There are some people who don't escape from the disaster of life by smoking or drinking or sexing. They do something different. They write. They think. They play music. They fed the homeless. They read books. They have conversations. It's what they call artists. See, my parents, your grandparents, they really never enjoyed reading or writing or thinking. So I was really never trained. The only thing I know how to do is drink and smoke. The thing you need to know about smoking and drinking is the following. You know when you're socialized and you have no choice but to be socialized. Some of you in this class perhaps don't like me. But thank God to your parents, for your parents, or for your prior instructors, you know how to contain your emotions well. You see, Natalie, if she wasn't socialized well, perhaps at the very beginning of the class, when Armand did, I don't know what exactly he did that displeased her, she could have slapped him. But she's been socialized well. She basically becomes passive a little. She doesn't pay him as much attention. But when you drink and when you smoke, especially if you have a good amount of anger inside you, all the protective mechanism that allows you to remain relatively civilized, they all go away. Anger seeps out. And God forbid if anger has become your habit in life, because now it becomes abuse. Even if you look at me as your father, Alex, and if you go back in time, surely you must have observed. First, I try to look the other way. Then, the volume of my voice goes up. Third, I begin to scream. Fourth, I spank you gently. Fifth, I spank you hard. Sixth, I slap you. Seventh, I kick you. Progression. And why do I go up? Become more and more abusive? I become comfortable. These are human issues that all of us in this class deal with. You think he never desired to spank or beat up his kids? Of course he has. He was just socialized well. So remember, if your coping mechanism against life is no longer smoking and drinking, partying and having sex and just being an idiot, what you do is you begin to read books. And you don't read just any book. You read books that educate you on your emotions, how they come up, and how you should think about things. And then there comes this other coping mechanism, which is really, really, really good, I think. All things happen because God wills it. This life, Alex, the gods have chosen me to be your father. Why? Deep down, you have this capacity to stand far back and look at me, examine me, analyze me, help your mom. You have the stamina to carry this burden on your shoulder. I was put on this planet just for you. You are the Messiah of this household. And you know what you drink? You don't drink alcohol, you drink the Bible. You don't write on canvas, on a piece of paper, you write in your heart and your mind. This is the third coping mechanism. Religion. Who are you? Not some confused beast. An angel fallen from grace. Your task? Get yourself back to paradise. What do you do with other beasts around you? You forgive them because they are fallen very much like you. But let's now talk about the coping mechanisms and your desire to forgive. That's for very, very advanced people. Forgiveness, again, is like walking into a ring with Mike Tyson. You need to understand why I am the way I am. And this is the trick. Alex, you ready? Once you understand what has caused me to be this way, forgiveness comes in organically and naturally. You don't even have to do anything about it. It'll just come in. You know why? You are baptized by understanding, which takes about 20, 30 years. You will never have understanding at the age of 18 or 19 or 25 or 30 or 40. It's not long enough. But the nice thing about your question is you're entertaining it, which means that your coping mechanism is not going to be so much about smoking and drinking. You will become an artist. You will have a journal. You will write. And you will write when you go home today. Me, your father, comes in at 5 and I'm screaming. I'm a little drunk. And then you say, I wonder how his day has been. I wonder why his parents never educated him. I'm wondering how my wife, my mother, can stand this or have stood this for 20 years. How is it possible? And all of a sudden you realize your mom is a saint. And you'll understand something even more difficult to comprehend. Despite all the abuse that I go through on a daily basis, I give my check to your mom so she could pay the bills. How could such an abusive man be so kind and generous? What the hell do you do with all those conflicts? If you are here on Tuesday next week, then we'll talk about forgiveness. But you can't forgive something you don't understand. And I hope that the few examples I offered allowed you to kind of get a glimpse into me, hypothetically, as your father. Take good care, people. Thank you.